Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Foothill Paint Fabrication. Well, today's the day we're going to be putting the engine back in the 1965 Malibu SS. I've got the engine pretty much ready to go. I don't think there's anything missing that I can't put on it. I've got the flywheel, clutch, bell housing, exhaust manifold, serpentine belt system. I've got pretty much everything on the engine that needs to be on the engine, so we don't have to do it once it's in the car. We will be putting it in without the transmission on. It's just my ceiling height here in the shop is kind of low, so I can't really get it high enough to poke it in with the tranny on it. So I've got the Muncie underneath the car waiting, and as soon as we get the engine on the motor mounts, then we'll just lift the Muncie right up on it and get the cross member on. So let's just jump right in here and take a look at the engine and everything and get this thing stuck back in here. Okay, let's take a quick look at the engine. This is a GM crate engine, 385 horsepower with aluminum fast burn heads, according to the previous owner. I got it cleaned up pretty nicely. I repainted the engine. The owner got the exhaust manifolds all cleaned up and painted, and we swapped out the intake that was on it for a Edelbrock Performer, and we have a Edelbrock carburetor to go on it. But it's looking really clean. Like I said, I got everything ready to go. So it has an explosion-proof bell housing on it that came with it, which is nice. And then the engine compartment's pretty much ready to go. All we got to do is drop this thing in. The Muncie's down there waiting. And this should go pretty smoothly, so let's get this thing in here. Okay, let's get this thing up in the air and get it in. Bit of a tight fit, but it's going to go in. Slow but sure, looking good. All right, just got to line up that one exhaust pipe. It's got to fit. I can't put it on later. I have to put it on right now. So let's crawl underneath. Get that thing lined up and drop this thing in. Okay, let's see if we can do this motor mount in. Motor mount bolt. There we go. Let's get the other side in. That'll be about it. Now this one has to go forward because the fuel pump's in the way. I had to actually remove the fuel pump because they had put it in this way. So all I got to do is reach around there and slide that in, and we're good to go. All right. Motor mount bolts are in. All we got to do is get the nuts on, get them tight, and we're good to go. All right, that wasn't too bad. Now I'm just going to hold the engine up. We'll get underneath and get that Muncie 4-speed stabbed in. All right, let's see if we can get this thing in here. I was hoping to, put it in with the shifter on it, but I had to pull it off. Just couldn't get enough room on the tunnel here. Not at this angle anyways. Now I had them both out. I went ahead and stabbed the tranny in just to make sure everything was going to line up. I had the pilot tool when I set the clutch, but I always want to double check if you can. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Let's get that throwout bearing slid on there. Come on, baby, get in there. Maybe a little more height. Feels pretty good. Let's get her in. There we go. It's on now. Got to get the input shaft lined up with the clutch plate. And we should be good. Oh, there we go. That feels pretty good. Feels like it's locked in. Just need to line up the flange. It should be pretty good. Let's put this thing down. There we go. Got it. Let's get it rotated and put the bolts in. All right, let's get the bolts in. All right, let's see here if we can cheat a little bit with the longest extension I've got. All right, first one's the hardest one. All right, we get the other side, and then let's get the cross member back in here. All right, let me get these tightened up, and then we can get the cross member back in here, and we should be good to go. Okay, got the cross member in. It's not tight yet. I want to make sure everything's centered up before I tighten it, but the weight is on it, and it's everything's looking really good. Got the shifter back up in there. You can see here I've got the reverse light switch right there, and there's the decoded digital sender. So I still have to get those wires on and do all that up underneath here. Emergency brake cable's clipped on, but it's not tight because we still have to do the rear brakes, and we'll have to mess with the emergency brake cable on that. So I got the exhaust pipe to swing over and get those nuts on and tight. Same thing over here, just going to get those tight, and the motor mount bolts, and this thing is just about done. So let me get all that knocked out. We'll get the cherry picker out of the way and take a look at this thing. Okay, all done. It's looking really nice, really nice. We've got some more stuff to put back on. Obviously, we've got the distributor set, carburetor, you know, a lot of other little stuff to hook up, but that'll be easy peasy compared to dropping the engine and transmission back in. So really happy the way it looks. Everything's looking really, really nice. It went smoothly, no real issues. Tell you what, that power steering pump is about 3/4 of an inch away from that steering gear box, but as long as it clears, that's all that matters. But everything else is looking good. Next thing for this will be probably getting the radiator and the cooling fans on, and then so that way I can get all that wired up and looking really nice. So that's about it for this one. Really happy the way everything's looking. It's really, really pretty. Okay guys, pretty much wraps up my project for today. And then, you know, I did this all by myself. Jake was some help. He took a nap while I was working, so, you know, he's all rested up for the next job. But, you know, a lot of us do this stuff by ourselves, and it's hard to stay motivated. So just the hardest part is just getting back out in the shop. Try to keep it organized and just motivate yourself. Just kind of get out there, even if you just walk around, sweep the floor, and put your tools away so you're ready for the next time. But just the hardest part for me, anyways, is getting out here. Once I'm out here, I really get going and I get a lot done. So I'm really happy the way it came out today. It went better than I anticipated. I'm glad to get this big hurdle out of the way, and I'm really anxious to start bolting some more stuff on this thing. This was really the last big hurdle on this car. We got the rear end to do, but that shouldn't be that big a deal. So I'm really, really happy, and I know the owner will be too. Thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint and Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and mash that bell icon so you get notifications every time I release a new video. We'll see you on the next one.